Yo, what's up, sports bettors? Alex here, and I have a ton of player props for you today on PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy, ParlayPlay, all these different platforms we're going to be going through. And I say it all the time, but when you look at a traditional sports book, you see all these numbers, right? You look at FanDuel, you see all these odds, minus 112, minus 112. Whereas when you look on PrizePicks, there are no odds. What makes PrizePicks interesting is this is a fixed payout platform. So what I mean by that is any two-pick entry you create on PrizePicks, so you can see right here, we have a two-pick entry, we're always getting a 3x payout, right? It doesn't matter if we take overs or unders. It doesn't matter what picks you select. For any two-pick entry, you're always getting a 3x payout on PrizePicks, right? So essentially, we've gone through this, but the strategy to beating PrizePicks is you want to be playing 5 flex plays, and you need to be winning. So all you need to do, the only thing you need to do to beat PrizePicks long term is you need to be winning your over-unders at a rate above 54.3%. So any picks you include in your PrizePicks entry, you need to be winning these over 54.3% of the time in a 5 or a 6 flex play to be profitable. Right? So you just got to hit your over-unders at a rate, and you're going to notice I put my money where my mouth is. The only things I'm playing, which you're going to see right here, are going to be 5 and 6 pick flexes because they're mathematically optimal. You have to be winning your picks just 54.3% of the time. So if you can select your over-unders correctly at a rate of, let's say, 55%, so if you can select over-unders, whatever you want to put in, if you can win 55% of these picks, you're only losing 45%, then your ROI on PrizePicks is going to be positive 5%, right? So that's all you're trying to do on PrizePicks is find picks that are winning at the highest possible rate, right? So there's a bunch of strategies to do that, but one of the tools I use all the time is the positive EV tool. So what this tool does is it goes to FanDuel, it pulls in all these lines from FanDuel, so you can see FanDuel has tons of different lines. It's reading in all the data from the sports books, as well as all the lines from PrizePicks, and showing you where the value is, right? So this play on Drew Rasmussen is a great player prop to include in our PrizePicks entry because what you're going to notice is all of the sports books, they have his over 5.5 strikeouts heavily favored, right? So that's why OddsJam is showing us this player prop, just the bet in bold in green. This is a great play to include on PrizePicks because all the sports books, literally all of them, we have numerous data points. These sports books invest hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. They're all telling us the same thing. FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, right? All these different sports books, they set lines independently. That's what makes sports betting so fun. As a sharp sports bettor, is all these books are trying to set lines independently. So we're just hunting through the market and looking for value, right? And we just showed earlier, PrizePicks is not varying your payouts based on you selecting overs or unders. You can see it's always going to be 3x for a two-pick entry. So all you want to do is find spots where sports books are telling you, hey, this over or this under is really heavily favored. So you can see here, again, every book tries to set lines independently. So you can see FanDuel has the over a bit more favored than Caesars, right? They have the over at minus 150, whereas Caesars only has it at minus 149. DraftKings minus 145. But long story short, all these books are telling you the same thing. Right? You can see Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. They also have the over favored. So as a sharp bettor, we're looking at all this data, and OddsJam is just telling us, hey, all the sportsbooks have this over really heavily favored for Drew over 5.5 strikeouts. So this is a great player prop to include in your PrizePicks entry, right? Because it's winning above 54.3% of the time. And we're looking at sportsbook odds to tell us that this play is winning over 54.3% of the time. Right? And this is just rational, right? These sports books invest hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines, and you have numerous data points telling you where the line should be set. All these sports books are saying the same thing, that Drew Rasmussen's over should be around a minus, 145, minus 140 favorite. So a pretty big favorite, right? He's a lot more likely to go over as opposed to under. So this is a great player prop to include in our PrizePicks entry. So that's the first player prop I went with. And notice, I'm not betting with my gut. I'm following the data, right? I'm literally just following the data. So Drew Rasmussen over 5.5 strikeouts, and then I also went with Kawhi under 6.5 rebounds. So it's not like this strategy is any different for the MLB versus the NBA versus the NHL. It's pretty simple. PrizePicks doesn't vary your payouts based on you selecting over or under. So you want to find spots. Here you can see all the books have Kawhi's under 6.5 rebounds as the heavily favored outcome. And no offense, you're not smarter than the market. You're not smarter than the sports books, right? They've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. They have extremely good models, tons of employees managing lines, and they're all saying the same thing, right? That Kawhi's under should be the heavy favorite, right? And again, it's also a market, right? So this is based on the beliefs of all sports bettors. You know, sports books are always moving around odds due to bets coming in from sharp bettors, from syndicates. So, you know, if Drew's over keeps getting pounded, sports books will move the odds from minus 150 to minus 160, right? This market is dynamic. People buy a stock, there's more demand than supply, the price of that stock goes up. It's no different in sports betting. If all the sharp action is coming in on the over, then sports books are like, oh, I guess we're giving too much value on the over, and the over is more likely than we thought it was, so we're going to move our odds from minus 150 to minus 160. So long story short, you know, this EV tool is really easy to use. You basically just select the sports books you use. So maybe you use different sports books, right? There's 188 sports books on OddsJam. So you can see right here, the top profit margin play is actually on BetRivers Sportsbook. I'm focusing on PrizePicks, ParlayPlay, Underdog Fantasy in this video, but you can see the top play is Matt Olson to not get a hit at plus 188 odds on BetRivers. And you can see, unsurprisingly, the strategy doesn't change, right? We are looking for value as a sharp bettor. You're literally like an investor, right? Investors hunt through the market. They look for underpriced assets. Day traders constantly hunting through the market, looking for value. It's no different in sports betting. This isn't about sports. This is about data, right? We're looking for market inefficiencies. And here, Olson to not get a hit is around plus 140 odds. On every other sportsbook has this around plus 140. We're getting plus 188 on BetRivers, so crazy value. So this also illustrates you want to have more sportsbooks as a sharp bettor. More sportsbooks means more profitable betting opportunities. I mean, you can see this play, freaking insane. We're getting plus 120 on the 76ers first half money line on Fliff. No other sportsbook is giving above plus 105 on this, right? Clear value. We found an edge. Is this bet a lock? No, this bet on Fliff isn't a lock. It's just a play with a mathematical edge. So another tool you can use, so those are some of the first player props I went with on PrizePicks, but there's different tools that you can use. I'll show you another one here in a second. So this tool right here is called the OddsJam screen, right? So you can see there's actually a little bit of an error here. It has, so if you take a look right here, it has Matt Boyd and Matthew Boyd. So FanDuel is calling him Matt Boyd. The rest of the sportsbooks are calling him Matthew Boyd, so it's not matching. So this isn't perfect. But what you're going to notice, so let me just zoom in right here, is FanDuel has his line at 4.5. Underdog Fantasy has Boyd's line at 4.5 strikeouts. All the other sportsbooks have his line at 4.5 strikeouts as well. PrizePicks is at 4, right? So if Boyd has exactly 4 strikeouts and we take his over on PrizePicks, we're going to push. We're going to tie, right? We're not going to lose. We're going to push. Anyone who bets his over 4.5 is going to lose if he has exactly 4 strikeouts. So we found an edge, right? PrizePicks is off from the rest of the market. Their line should be at 4.5, but they're at 4, right? PrizePicks is at 4. All the other books are at 4.5, so PrizePicks is too low. We want to take the over. So the positive EV tool is a really interesting tool and a really valuable tool because it shows you discrepancies, you know, in the prices. It shows you, you know, here, all books have Olson's line at over under half of a hit, right? 1+ hit or 0 hits. So what we're doing is we're comparing the price, right? We're comparing the price on BetRivers to the prices the other sportsbooks are offering. But what is interesting about the screen is you're not comparing prices. Here, FanDuel, PrizePicks, their line is set at a completely different level than FanDuel and all the sports books. So here you can see it looks like it was just fixed. So OddsJam has some algorithms for matching it. Now, you know, it's at 4.5, or FanDuel switched from Matt Boyd to Matthew Boyd. But regardless, here, PrizePicks, their line is set at a different level, right? The EV tool is comparing prices when you're using this screen. And again, you can look at any market. We're currently looking at MLB player strikeouts, but you can look at any market you want. NBA rebounds, NHL shot on goal, whatever market you want is, you know, available on this screen. And basically what you want to do with the screen is look for where one book has a different line than other books. Here, PrizePicks is at 4, All the books are at 4.5. So PrizePicks is too low. They're giving too much value on the over. So we want to take the over. And a lot of people may be like, oh, 4 versus 4.5 doesn't seem like that big of a difference. Like, what's half of a strikeout? That doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But I'm going to prove you wrong right here. So on FanDuel, they offer alternate markets, right? Alternate strikeout markets. So what you're going to see is they have 4+ strikeouts at minus 290, and they have 5+ strikeouts at minus 113, right? So 4+ strikeouts is the same as over 3.5 strikeouts, right? So you can see here, 5+ strikeouts is the same as over 4.5. Over 4.5, 5+. If Boyd has exactly 5 or more strikeouts, if he has 5+ strikeouts, then 5+ strikeouts is going to hit, and also over 4.5 strikeouts is going to hit, right? So long story short, what you can see is one strikeout moves the odds by 180 cents, right? That's an 180-cent jump. So you can kind of assume Boyd over 4 strikeouts. So what we got on PrizePicks is Boyd over 4 strikeouts. That's just the middle of 4+ strikeouts and 5+ strikeouts, right? And it would be somewhere around minus 200. If you took a midpoint of 4+ strikeouts and 5+ strikeouts, which would be over 4 strikeouts where you're pushing if he has exactly 4. So if you take that midpoint, half of a strikeout is like a 90-cent swing. So that's a big jump in the odds. But long story short, I also used, this is a new tool on OddsJam. It's called the fantasy screen. So we said earlier, all that matters on PrizePicks is this, right? What is the win probability for each pick? So what this tool does is it just shows you the plays that are profitable on PrizePicks. It's all the picks in green, so you want to stop. These ones in red, maybe they'll get good later if lines move, if lineups change. So it shows you plays that are close to becoming good on PrizePicks but currently aren't profitable, right? But all you want to do is take the picks in green. All of these picks are over 54.3% to hit on PrizePicks and will be profitable in an entry, right? And it's using sportsbook odds to tell you that. So you can see right here, Carlos Carrasco, under 1.5 walks, is 56.7% to hit. So if you're hitting all your picks in a 5 flex at 56.7%, your ROI is going to be 17%, right, on PrizePicks. And I'll include this spreadsheet in the description on YouTube. So long story short, this is a great player prop to include on PrizePicks, right? It's just showing you, hey, all the sports books have this under really heavily juiced around minus 155, minus 150. You're getting this on PrizePicks when the under's really heavily favored, so the under's a lot more likely than the over. So the percentage, the probability this play hits is pretty likely, right? It's above 50%. It's above 54.3%. So it's profitable to include in your PrizePicks entry. So you can see here, this is currently free to use. It's in beta mode. So you just go to screen, fantasy screen. It's currently, again, free to use in beta mode. And you just want to play the player props in green, right? You just want to play the player props in green. So you can see there's a fair amount of them available. So what I ended up going with on PrizePicks, here's my first entry: Boyd over 4 strikeouts, Carrasco under 1.5 walks allowed, Frank Vetrano over 2.5 shots on goal, James Caprillion under 4.5 strikeouts, Joey Weimer over half of a base. Then I went with that Kawhi play. So here's another 5 flex, and I'm trying to move a little quick, so just take a screenshot if you want to tail this. And then here you can see a final one, right? So right here, just switching out a few different picks. So here you can see I have a tennis pick in there. So long story short, that's PrizePicks. Now we can head over to ParlayPlay as well as Underdog Fantasy, and I'll show you kind of how crazy or how valuable this screen can be. So if you take a look here, right, on Underdog Fantasy, if you take Gonzalez to get a hit, Ramirez to get a single, and Ruiz to get a single, you're betting 100 to win 600, 100 to win 500 in profit, plus your $100 stake back. So this doesn't mean betting 100 to win 600 in profit. It actually means 100 to win 500 in profit, right? Plus 500 odds. You're betting 100 to win 500 in profit, plus your $100 stake back. So the total payout is $600, right? But you're betting 100 to win 500. So you can see these plays I found on the fantasy screen. So right here, you can see Ruiz to get a single. You can get this on Underdog Fantasy. But if you look at FanDuel, for these exact same 3 picks, Ramirez single, Ruiz single, Gonzalez to get a hit, you're only betting 100 to win 237 in profit. FanDuel is ripping you off and Underdog is giving you crazy value, right? We're literally getting 2x higher profit betting this on Underdog Fantasy as opposed to FanDuel. On FanDuel, we're betting 100 to win 237.84 in profit. You can literally see this right here. On Underdog Fantasy, you're betting 100 to win 500 in profit. So I say this all the time, but as a sharp bettor, if you're getting ripped off and you're placing plays like this, again, all these picks are just from that fantasy screen. It works for No House Advantage, ParlayPlay, Thrive Fantasy, all the fantasy sites, any others you want added, let us know. I'll include my email in the description. We'll try to add it in for you. But long story short, you got to be looking for value in the market. If you're placing this bet on FanDuel, now it's down to plus 234, right? You're betting 100 to win 234.98 in profit. You're getting $500 in profit on Underdog. So that's a crazy, crazy discrepancy, right? You got to be looking for value in the market. You got to be comparing payouts from book to book because these things are really impactful. If you're getting ripped off and placing bets like this on FanDuel, you don't stand a chance, right? You're like an investor who has to buy every asset at 2 times the price. You're getting ripped off. But anyways, so Underdog Fantasy, Jock Market, tons of different ones available. But anyways, so the next one we'll look at is ParlayPlay. Right? So ParlayPlay is kind of a new platform. And we said earlier on PrizePicks, you want to be going with 5 or 6 flexes. So what's interesting about ParlayPlay is I went through the math of, all their different payouts. So 6 picks insured, all the stuff like that. And what's optimal is 6 picks with insurance. And on PrizePicks, we said you have to be winning 54.3% of your plays in a 5 flex to be profitable. On ParlayPlay, you only need to win 53.2% of your picks to be profitable, right? So it's lower. So if you're hitting your picks at a rate of 54% on ParlayPlay, this wouldn't be profitable. If you're winning 54% of your over-unders on PrizePicks, you're losing 46%, you wouldn't be profitable. But on ParlayPlay, your ROI would be pretty good, 7.16%. So ParlayPlay offers better payouts than PrizePicks, so it's actually a bit easier of a platform to beat, right? It's kind of a new PrizePicks competitor. So here you can see Johnny Davis, right? Most of the sports books have the over pretty heavily favored. DraftKings minus 145, Bovada minus 150, right? These sports books have his over pretty heavily favored. So that's a great play to include in your ParlayPlay entry. 6 pick insured. DeBrusque, over 2.5 shots on goal. And then you can flip over to the fantasy screen. Chris Bryant, under 1.5 bases. Chris Bubic, over 4.5 strikeouts. So long story short, all you want to do is find 6 picks. What I ended up going with, 6 picks with insurance, so you want to use insurance, is DeBrusque, over 2.5 shots on goal. Walker, under 5.5 strikeouts. Bryant, under 1.5 bases. Vladdy, under 1.5 bases. Bubic, over 4.5 strikeouts. Will Smith, under 1.5 bases. 6 picks, which you can see right here, so I'm not sure if it will show me my payouts. But you can see right here, if you go 6 for 6, you get $625 I'm getting. And if I go 5 for 6, I'm getting $62.50. So ParlayPlay, I'll also include this spreadsheet so you can play around with it in the description. Let's make money. Happy Easter.